All right, so I kind of want to start it with like a little bit of a short testimony. I've always grown up in the church. I've actually grown up at Pathway, so I got dedicated actually at Highland Middle School. So I've been here my whole entire life, but I didn't really take my faith seriously or on my own really until about middle school when I started going to youth group every Wednesday night at that time. I started realizing that faith isn't just something that I do because my parents do it. It's something that I need to take on in responsibility and grow my relationship with him on my own. And then in the summer of 2018, I believe, I decided to get baptized actually with Linnell. We did it together. So that was really special, at least for me, hopefully for her too. um, but it was a public proclamation of my faith. So that's just kind of like a little testimony. But what I really wanted to talk about was how my faith has affected me in high school, because being particularly a public school student and a Christian, it's not always easy. Not saying it's hard necessarily either, but I definitely had a few struggles. One of them was feeling different, like knowing that because of my faith, I didn't do certain things that other people at school were doing. I'm like the innocent girl, like I never partied, I never did any of that. And so I knew that I was different. And sometimes, though I didn't want to go out and do bad things, it is hard being labeled as like the good Christian girl. So that was around sophomore year, and I struggled with that. But one of the amazing things about that is towards the end of sophomore year, beginning of junior year, I believe, I started realizing that God was using me as a tool and as an influence to those people. So instead of being the one that was different and weird because she was different, I kind of realized that I need to own it and to really understand that God's using me as a vessel to reach out to other people that might have never been exposed to Christianity before or never exposed to the idea of doing certain things because of my faith. So I actually got more comfortable with my faith through the end of high school, and really owning it and showing that like God can work through anything I do. Um, and I think that's one of my biggest advice for high schoolers and or freshmen coming in is to never not be confident in who you are. There are always going to be times where you're going to struggle with insecurities. That's normal in high school. Um, but especially being a Christian and going to youth group, using that instead of being shameful of the fact that you might be labeled as different or as a Jesus freak or whatever else you want to call it. Use that to your advantage and be like, yes, I am different. And let me tell you why I'm different. Invite them to youth group, do something like that. And it really does impact people in a way that you wouldn't think it would. I know I've had plenty of experiences when I've talked to someone and they somehow through the conversation, they figure out that I'm a Christian and go to church every day. Like actually today I was at work and I was watching the sermon from church actually at work. So some like this one lifeguard came up and was like, "What you doing?" And like little things like that, not being afraid to say, "This is what I'm doing. I'm watching church," or "I'm listening to worship music." Like you should be proud of those things. So that would be one big thing of advice that really has helped me and grow in my faith as well as become comfortable with sharing the gospel, which is also very important. Um, and the other big thing that I want to press with you is definitely to fellowship with others. I know that um, everyone always says that, and sometimes it doesn't always click. But honestly, I don't think I would be where I am today without the great group of friends that I was blessed to have growing up through school, as well as youth group and all different avenues that I was able to utilize to go to them when I needed something, or um, ask for advice, or use them to be my accountability partners when I really was struggling in my faith. So definitely fellowship with others, and lean on to them, because that's a big part of faith, is not just leaning on God, but it's also leaning on other Christians, and growing together in your faith as well. But that's pretty much all I have. I didn't know exactly what you wanted me to share, Ben, but that's kind of a little summary. And definitely trust. There's a lot of trust that is involved, especially throughout high school. So, yeah.